Buenas tardes, YouTube. Welcome to my channel, Better Monday Fasting. Today I'm gonna talk about how fasting it's not always easy. So that'll be the topic. Before getting started, I want to make it clear that nothing I share in this video is medical advice. So please do your own research before making any important decisions health-wise. So I was kind of reflecting on my fasting journey, and now when I talk about fasting, of course, I'm making all these videos to convince people on fasting because it has changed my life in a very positive way. And so I really want to spread the good word about fasting, but sometimes I tend to forget that fasting is a journey, and I've already like passed a lot of stages on this fasting journey. So sometimes I have tendency to forget the difficult times. I mean, fasting is once you start fasting, you'll have some positive results. So no doubt about that. Like once you start fasting, you will have some results. But the more like significant results, they come with time. And in order for us to achieve them, like it's like we need to pass like stages. There's you're on what level? It's a little bit like judo or martial arts. You know, you go from one belt to another, and you know to get your next belt is always like, you know, it's a lot of dedication, and but eventually you get there, and then everything, you know, you're at a different level, and the people, like the respect you get maybe from socially because you have a higher belt changes. So it's like so fasting is a bit like that, and there are moments that are kind of difficult, you know, like when you're gonna be struggling. I mean, they'll be within a fast. You're always gonna experience like a fasting crisis. Healing crisis. And I'm not talking about that. It's more like, you know, you'll be fasting for a while, and like sometimes like it's a little bit. You might start like doubting a little bit, like, is this good? Is this doing me any good? And then you go to the next level, you know. So in that sense, it's not, you know, even if you've been making good progress, sometimes it's like it can be that gets a little bit difficult. And the rule of thumb, like, is like with fasting is fasting should never be boring. So if it gets boring, it's either we're not challenging enough the body, and we can challenging enough by, you know, increasing the hours of fasting or changing patterns. So we attack the body, challenge the body from different angles. So that could be one reason. And the other one is that maybe you need to take a vacation from fasting. It's just that you've already accomplished like a lot of progress, and then you need that, you know, a little bit of time off to miss fasting. But it's not like always. It's not always easy. So now I just like, I mean, I was able to transform, like, because more you're gonna fast, more you're gonna be able to turn it into a Swiss Army knife like tool. So you'll be solving all kinds of you know, problems, like physical problems, decision making problems, You can use it while you're traveling, so you don't always go to the bathroom. You can use it to be more productive. You can use it to lose or gain weight. You can use it to have better performance if you're doing like any sports, if you're going to the gym. So it's very like you can turn it into a tool, and once you accomplish that, so you become like a fan of fasting, and you start having a speech like the one I do. Oh, it's great, it's like it's this and that and so. And but for somebody who's starting and maybe has like a high toxicity levels, and starts her fasting journey, and it's getting hit by all the healing crisis and like the symptoms, like, and then they watch my video, they're gonna be like, what is he talking about? Like, this is hell. So, and both realities are true, it's just like it's just the journey. Like, I mean, it's just like when you start playing an instrument, when you start a business, like with like everything, I mean, it takes time to take off. But we forget really, we have tendency as humans to forget really fast the bad times when things start getting like when things start getting good, when we have our health and everything. I mean, it already happened to me that once I broke a toe. So I remember the whole thing, I broke the toe, I went to the hospital, like all that stuff. But then I don't remember which foot was it, on what side. So it's that like we have tendency to forget. And the thing is, like, I was suffering from minor and less minor like health issues, and I was able to fix them. And sometimes like we forget like all the progress we made, and we kind of start taking being healthy as granted. So that's one side of the fasting is it's not always easy, like, so like as a season like faster. I don't know if we can say that, but as a person who has been fasting for the past 8 years, sometimes I have to remember like the past, that it hasn't been easy. And also a lot of things changed, like on my first fast, for example, like I will have lots of gas from the bottom and the top. So I'll start fasting and gas, and within a year or so, that disappeared. So that's why it's a journey, like that condition. My explanation to it is that probably the body was, all the walls of the intestine and all that, like it was just peeling off getting rid of all the toxins, all the bad stuff, So that's why I was producing gas. And then once it got rid of it, it got clean, then no more gas. So that could be an explanation. So I'm going to do my daily grounding. It's a beautiful day, and I like to do it here because I also have a tree that I can hug. And I just don't want to bother people because it's a residential area. So I start a little bit, let's see what time is it, to ground myself, and then I'll go. So yeah, that's the one side of things. Like fasting is not always easy, but tomorrow always comes, and then all the suffering, actually, like all the hard times, they lead to better times. That's my take. Another aspect of fasting not being easy is that it depends on your condition, And of course, if you're like relatively healthy, and you're motivated and you start fasting, I mean, things might go straightforward, and you might able to advance in your fasting journey fairly easily. And I think that's what happened to me. I think I had enough capital, even though I had I think I was close to burnout, even though I never experienced that, but I was close to it, I think. And I had all these minor health issues, and I wasn't very happy back then when I started. My general level of happiness was pretty low, and I started fasting. So fasting is stress, and my body was still strong enough, it took the shock, and then I was able to thank to fasting, being able to progress from there, But the thing is, everybody is not in that position, and I always associate a good image that I like with fasting. I mean, with health in general, it's credit card debt, or like a fire. And the thing is, if you every month you pay what you owe to your credit card company, I mean, you're not going to be in trouble. I mean, credit cards can be a good tool, you'll gain cash back, you'll gain miles. But the problem starts when your credit card debt is really high, and then every month you're gonna be paying a lot of money just for in interest. So health is a little bit like that. So when things are going well, you can fast, and with short fasts you're gonna tune up your system, and you're gonna be most likely preventing all the bad things that might happen, like disease, disease might not happen, because you're always cleaning your system, you're tuning up, and you're doing the cleansing. But once you start having problems, so instead of having a proactive approach, you have more of a reactive approach, then it starts getting difficult, because if you're already in poor health, I mean, more the worse your health is going to get, in order to fix it, you're going to need longer fasts, So if you're in good health, your intermittent fasting might be just enough to keep you, But if you start having tumors, cancer, things like that, your intermittent fasting or short fasts, they're not gonna, they cannot, I mean, it will do you good. It will do you good, but it's just that the interest, the debt is too big, so then you'll be trying to fix things, but things are going on are getting worse at a higher rate. So that's the situation that we don't want to be in. And also, another image I use is the fire image. When a fire starts, if you can spot it right away with a glass of water, you can stop it, extinguish the fire. But once it starts spreading around, then you need helicopters, and you need bigger measures. And with health, the way I see it is exactly the same, and with fasting is exactly the same. So that's why the second reason why I find fasting can be difficult, it's when you discover fasting when actually you need it the most. You already have an advanced condition, and now you want to fix it with fasting. But the bad news is that to fix your bad condition, you need extended and probably dry fasting. And the thing is, you don't have the capacity to do that, because for example, if you need to cure a certain condition, you need, I don't know, a 7-day dry fast, or you need I mean, I heard some testimonies that people get rid of like tumors within like a 3-week dry fast, you know, things like that. But the thing is, like, if you, like, for anybody it will be really difficult to start with a three-week dry fast, you know. So you have to get yourself to that level, and if you're healthy, it's already going to be challenging. But if on top of it you're not healthy and you're dealing with that condition, and the condition is already making you weak, it's going to be even more difficult. So that's kind of like something to keep in mind. But I always say there's always hope. I mean, if there's life, there's always hope. So it doesn't mean that you know, if you're, you know, you discovered fasting during like a really poor condition, it doesn't mean that you cannot, you know, you reverse the situation. It's just going to be more difficult. So you have to keep that in mind. And when you're planning, you're making your plan, you have to keep in mind that you need to gain fasting capacity, like increase your fasting capacity in terms of hours. You're gonna have to do it fairly fast, like, you know, because fairly quickly, because on the other end, like the disease is eating you up, you know. So you're not, you cannot be like, okay, I'll try. I mean, it's always good to start slow, you know. It's always good to start slow, step by step and all that. It's all good, but if you're in an emergency situation, then you have to act accordingly. So keep that in mind. And that's the same with debt, you know. It's just that, you know, if you have thousands of dollars of debt and you're paying, I don't know, like hundreds of dollars every month, just like in interest, credit card interest, then just paying your you know, the monthly minimum payment, it's not going to cut it, you know. I mean, maybe you will allow you to not get into deeper trouble, you know, with the bank, but you won't be just paying the minimum. You won't. And if you're at the same time charging the card to get your groceries and stuff, like, so at one point you need a, you know, you need a plan where you just, you know, you have to kill that, you know. So yeah, this is kind of what's happening with my team, Trabzonspor, from Turkey, where, like, I mean, all the teams in Turkey, especially the bigger ones, they have a lot of that. And the president we have right now, Ertuğrul Doğan, I mean, his plan is to, like, he already injected a lot of money into the club, but like then he saw that like that was just enough, like, to save the day and pay the interest, you know, because we were paying millions of euros in interest every year. So then he was like, yeah, we need another strategy, like we need to somehow generate money, maybe with things that are not related to soccer, to kill that debt, you know. So then at least we're not paying interest, you know. And now he has that plan to pay off debt and in a year, you know. And then that will make us. I mean, it's harder. It's hard to sell it to the fans, you know, because the fans, they want results. They want results on the field. But that, like, for me, like, I mean, I love the game and everything, but I'm more on the macro side of things. When I follow a team, it's like I get pleasure of course, watching the games, but I see it like as a business, you know. I always look at how much we buy a player and how much we sell the player, things like that. I mean, and how do you grow are you growing as a team, you know? Are you becoming like a world brand or not, you know? Or you're just playing, you know, every season you're playing games, but is this like leading you anywhere? So I'm more on the macro level, and if we are able to pay off debt, it will be huge. I mean, the consequence of that might be in the decades. I mean, for me, we are number one of Turkey, like in my heart. But then you have the reality, you know. I mean, the other clubs, they have more money, they have more titles, and they have more. Maybe they've been more successful in Europe. I mean, that's open to discussion. All that stuff, because you're competing in an unfair environment. So it's all, everything is relative. But if you know, if you're solid money-wise, I mean, nothing can stop you. Especially if your opponents, they're gonna be, because now they're still buying really expensive players and all that. Like, so we already stopped that, and then if we pay off that, so that then it's gonna pay off. You know, logically, it should pay off in the future. So yeah, so those are the two main things that can make fasting kind of difficult, you know. So I wanted to touch on those two topics, and also to remind myself that it's a journey, and I'm already, you know, I've been on this journey for 8 years. So sometimes I have to stop and have empathy and try to understand, like, somebody who's starting, or somebody that is not in a good shape. So I can nuance the message accordingly, you know. I mean, if you're a guitar teacher and the kid is like just try like it's the first week, you're not gonna come and say, oh, here's the chord progression and do this. Like, the kid is not gonna understand anything. I mean, he can barely put a finger on the string. So sometimes, yeah, fasting, it's also like it's very similar to a sport. It's very similar to a sport. I mean, the way it's actually pretty similar to bodybuilding. Like, you know, you put stress, then you grow. You put stress, you eat, you rest, you grow. It's a little bit like so it's less visible than bodybuilding, you know, but your metabolism, it's getting stronger, and then you start being very different than the masses. You know, like a lot of people around me will complain about like the heat, you know, and I don't. Like, I kind of like it, actually. It's like it doesn't bother me that much. I mean, it might also be because I traveled a lot, you know. I lived in Sonora and Sinaloa during the summer, and I mean, it's really hot. So then, you know, I go to Medellin, and as soon as it's over 27 degrees Celsius, they're like, oh my God, it's hot. And then when it goes like under 19 degrees, they're like, oh my God, it's cold. Like, and but yeah, I mean, that I don't. I mean, it has to get really, really hot to bother me. Cold, I'm a little bit more sensitive to cold, but even that I can deal. And then also once I was in Monterrey. No, it was Guadalajara. I was in Guadalajara. I met this girl on Tinder, and so we met at this coffee shop. But then they didn't have food, so we decided to go somewhere else. And the lady was a little bit like overweight, but I mean, cute. Like, but then we started walking. I mean, it was like 5 or 6 blocks to walk. So we're walking, and I'm talking, and the lady. I mean, I'm walking normal, you know. The lady was like, it was like she was running a marathon, you know. And so I had to like always slow down, and And I was like, what's going on with her? And it's just that, yeah, like for me it was something really effortless, but for somebody else is, yeah, that's what I realized. Also, there's talking about separating you from masses. It's just like once you clean your system, like everything that is toxic is just like it's just bothering you, you know, like cigarette smoke, fragrance, like things that are artificial. And my new thing, the new thing that is bothering me is like I go to the sauna every day, and after the sauna, it's just like you feel really good, you know. You got your toxins out, you took your shower, and you're just. And so I'm in the locker room, and it's a pretty. I mean, it's from somebody coming from the outside, it's an affordable place. I pay like over $1 a day, but it's a little bit of a fancy place. So they have all these like deodorants and all that, like for free, Listerine, like things like that, like mouthwash, and so I'm all like in peace, like, you know, I did my sauna. I'm just like, you know. And then there's a guy each time that comes and takes the anti-perspirant, like the deodorant, you know, and starts like putting all over his body, like and I cannot tell you how much it bothers me. Like, it's really, my body is saying like this, like, don't breathe that thing. And especially when you are at the moment where you just, you know, you feel so clean because you did, you know, because before the sauna I go to the gym, so I had already worked all day, went to the gym, went to the sauna, and I'm like, you know, in there, and I haven't eaten anything, you know, but I mean, like, this great place, and the guy sprays, and you cannot say anything, you know. It's just because also, like, we're in a region of the world that is like even in the as a certain culture, like the healthy living. I mean, I'm not even sure that like most of the people, they know to not use anti-perspirant, like use more like natural deodorants. I don't even know if that's, you know, something understood. So then if you go to a guy and like, you're like, hey, stop putting you know, X, they're gonna, yeah, he's not gonna understand. You know, he's not gonna understand that that what he's doing is not good for him. It's not good for the other people. So, like I might get into a fight for no reason. Like, I mean, you have to understand. You have to have empathy. But that's what like starts happening. You know, like once you start fasting, you become, so you're not hungry anymore. You're not thirsty. Your metabolism is stronger. I mean, now I could know, like, yeah, I mean, if you socialize and people, they always have to drink something, eat something, and it's annoying, like. And this cigarette smoke, like, I cannot, like, I'm really over it. That's why, like, I don't live in my native country because the cigarette situation, secondhand smoking over there, it really bothers me. But not even that, like, it's also when you have a neighbor that smokes, even if it somehow manages to not bother you with the, you know, they're always going to open the door, go downstairs, you know. It's like, it creates those like patterns that are comes from addiction, you know. And even that bothers me. Like, it's just like, I want, you know, I value continuity. So you like, you change, and it becomes more and more difficult to live in big cities. And also what bothers me a lot, like on my cell phone, I usually avoid to put it on my body. First of all, I have zero notification. Even if like WhatsApp, like you send me a message, I don't see it. Like I set it everything, so I go to the application, you know. And yeah, I mean, sometimes you have a neighbor. I had a neighbor. I mean, I will hear the notification from his cell phone. Like, I mean, that's pollution for me. Like, you know, like, why? Because I value like continuity so much, and now like you're just because you got a message, that because you sign up to a mailing list, like 6 months ago, and you're not even reading, and now we're getting that notification, and now I have to be interrupted because of it's like, when it's small like details, but I mean, when you think about it, it's very, like once you start getting on the right path, but the entire society is not, then it becomes difficult, and then you are the odd guy, But now, like I'm here, I'm I'm grounding and stuff. I mean, I'm the weirdo. But actually, that grounding, what it does to my organs, to my bloodstream, and it's actually walking with shoes. That's what should be and it's the same with I think it's the same with eating, like eating 5 meals a day. That's not normal, that's really not normal. Even eating every day, like. On that note, yeah, like this week I, right now I'm on a 18/6 intermittent fasting pattern, and I skip my OMAD on Wednesdays and Saturdays. And I've been on that pattern for a while now. But this week I got this message from my body. On Monday I didn't want to eat, so I didn't. So on Saturday I didn't eat. On Sunday I broke my fast, and on Monday my body said, no, you don't eat today. So I didn't, and then I didn't again on Wednesday. That was my regular day. And tomorrow is Saturday, and tomorrow I'm not going to eat either. So now so I eat only 4 meals a week. So I'm going to try that for a while, because it's been going really well. And also my body, I think it's like, maybe it needed to do like a bigger process. Sometimes it happens, like when we get those messages, sometimes it needs more, it's doing something, it's completing a major task. So it will tell you like, oh, please no, don't eat now. Of course, you need to develop like your skills to be able to listen and interpret the correct way. I mean, that takes time, but once you have it, and so I'm gonna go with that. My plan now is like to do, fast 3 days a week. So it will be Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Do that maybe 2-3 weeks, and then if I'm going to be looking very closely to Thursdays and Fridays, the 2 consecutive days when I'm eating, and see how that makes me feel and all that. Because then I want to go on, I want to experiment with I've already done it, but the 1-1 pattern, one day you eat, one day you don't eat. And it sounds like an easy pattern, but it's not as easy as it seems, because when you're going into fasting, you need adaptation. When you come out of fasting, you need also to adapt. So the 1-1 is, you're always like, you're always in adaptation mode. And I've already done it once with the 5 days of fasting, so for 10 days, and it was very, very difficult. And also one phenomena that happens with that is that the body gets into the rhythm that it's actually only eating once every 2 days. So I could feel that there were some repair processes that will, the body stops when you break your fast, and then it takes from, like, I could start feeling that, like, so it's interesting, like, so now maybe I'm ready to do it try to do it more long term, because I think that pattern is very, very interesting. And I mean, in terms of productivity, it's amazing. I mean, the Monday, the day I didn't eat, I mean, I had so much extra time in my hands to work on my projects, because you don't have to cook, you don't have to go to the grocery store, you don't have to cook, you don't have to digest, and your mental clarity is good. On top of that, you get a lot done, you go to bed earlier, and you recoup faster because you haven't eaten anything. Then you wake up earlier, and then you have all that hype, like you're hyped up because you look forward to breaking your fast that night. And so until you eat, you're all like very excited and in a good mood and productive, you know. So maybe do it like that, one, like you can, yeah, I wanna. So that's my plan with the current situation. That's also to give you an idea that yeah, I mean fasting, like it's always like those fasting patterns and what we're doing. It's always changing. We always need to like listen to the body and interpret and make decisions accordingly, and then get feedback from the body if we made a good decision or not, you know, and that way we gain momentum and we get the most out of our fasting. And so yeah, so that was for the two reasons why like fasting can be difficult, you know. And then we went on a little bit on little tangents, and also on my current fasting status. I think it's interesting, like I'll be sharing that more, like almost like a little bit like it will be my, you know, like, I mean, it's a vlog anyways, but sometimes it's, you know, you hear the theory and it kind of makes sense, but then, you know, once you can link it with reality, the everyday life, it makes more sense. Because I always talk about like listening to the body, like interpretation of the signal coming from the body, but it can sound abstract, you know, if you just watch a video on that. But like when the person is saying like, oh, today that happened to me, and that's why I'm going to be fasting an extra day, and those are the results I got, then I think it might help to understand better the whole process. And especially that it's a journey. It's an ongoing journey, and yeah, I mean, it's like, imagine a journey with on a boat. You know, there's different weather conditions, and you always have to adapt and navigate and all those things. Well, if you watched it up to this point, thanks a lot. I mean, thanks a lot if you watched it, and if you watched it that far, extra thank you. And I'll see you in another video.